Thanks for your support as a channel member, Germat7046. Our run of points scoring finishes came to an end last time out in Belgium, but Hungary today is a race that should suit our car, at least according to the car performance index. So hopefully we can pick up the point scoring baton where we left off in Silverstone. Hello folks and welcome to a brand new episode of F1 Manager 2024 Creator Team here, AHGP, on the grid, ready to go for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And today we are running a special livery. Let's get straight to it. I'll show you the livery, and here we are. Let's have a look at the livery, get rid of that. There we go. It looks slightly different to the one that we've been running so far this season. And yeah, I think it looks pretty nice. This has been created by one of the World Champion members, Germat, who has submitted this. And I've decided to use it for his home race because Germat is from Hungary. He's been trying to teach me Hungarian. It's safe to say I'm failing at it because I can't remember half of it. But he's trying and I'm also trying in a completely different sense. But this is a fantastic livery. Let us know what you think of it. What would you rate this livery out of 10 that Germat has provided? I really like the deep purple and with the black and the white line as well. It really looks quite nice. Obviously the sponsors could probably do with a bit of rearranging, but considering it's just a one-off, I decided to just let them be. So yeah, it looks really good and hopefully it looks great on track as well. Obviously I mentioned in the intro that we didn't score points in Spa. We finished 11th and 12th. We took a grid penalty with Paul Aaron, took a new ERS, so he actually managed to get into Q3 when we needed Fred to be in Q3, but Fred ended up 15th in qualifying, so our races were screwed. And we didn't have the pace to catch up with Ricciardo or Antonelli, so we didn't score any points there. But Budapest looks like it could be a better race weekend for us. I mean, we are good at medium speed and kind of mid at low speed, so we might be all right here. So I'm going to get to practice and in a minute get the cars on track, get them all set up. I should show you actually that our junior drivers, Pulse Potato and Justin, have been doing a little bit better in Formula 2. They actually, in Silverstone, picked up a 1-2 finish in the sprint, I believe it was. Bring that up on the screen now. Yeah, they've had some relatively good results. I think they had a decent set of results in Spa as well. Let's have a look. It's here somewhere. Hang on. Alright, here we go. Race results. Spa-Francorchamps. Yeah, so Pulse Potato got 9th place in the feature race. Justin got a P5, which is pretty good for him. And in the sprint, Justin finished 2nd. And Pulse Potato finished out of the points, I think, yeah, P12. So in the championship standings in Formula 2, that leaves Pulse Potato in 13th with 42 points and Justin 16th so far with 36. They are a long way off the pace setting Zane Maloney. To be fair, they're not that far off the rating of our own race drivers, who are now both rated 78. And as you can see, Pulse Potato is 77, Justin is 76. That said, we are renegotiating both their contracts, so they've got better wages and a shorter remaining time on the deal, so we can hopefully pre-sign them to a contract to race for us maybe in 2027. I would like to see one of them finish in the top 5 of Formula 2 to really sort of solidify their credentials as a Formula 1 driver. Not to say that they're not being considered, but it's just, I think there's that sort of, you need to show what you can do a little bit more in Formula 2. They haven't raced before, so this is their first sort of effort at it. So maybe they stay for one more season. Let me know what you think we should do with the junior drivers moving forward. Fred Vesti has only got 5 months left on his deal. Maybe we re-sign him for another year. Maybe we sign someone else as a stopgap, but let me know what you think we should do. I'm going to get to the track in Hungary and I'll see you for qualifying. Hopefully it'll be Q2 and then we'll progress from there. Safely into Q2 then, and you join me as we prepare our final runs in this session. As you can see here on the left hand side of the screen, we've got an extended sector table, for want of a better phrase. Yeah, I've downloaded a mod, and now we get to see all the sector times, which is going to be really good for keeping track of actually how much faster each driver is going. So let's go a bit faster, ×2 speed, and see what we can do on these runs. Paul Aaron is the driver we are following, and he is currently 13th after a run on used tyres, heavily used tyres from Q1. So we've actually got 3 sets of fresh soft tyres, one of which we are on right now. Fred Vesti has done a 26.8. He's 0.2 quicker than his teammate in Sector 1. What can Paul Aaron find in the middle sector of the track? He's following an RB. It's a 26.4. That RB is probably Joe. He's probably going a bit quicker, actually. Vesti matches his teammate in the middle sector. And we will outqualify George Russell because he crashed out in Q1. Paul Aaron goes 11th. So not quite Q3, but Fred is going a bit quicker. So he's at least 0.2 up. Can he reach the promised land of Q3? He can! P9! Fantastic lap from Fred Vesti. And that is us into the third and final part of qualifying. Paul Aaron will start P12. That's not a terrible place to start. We can still shoot for the points from there. Lewis Hamilton's just on the fastest middle sector of anybody. But that's not for us to worry about. We're into Q3. That's all we were after. Q3 then, and let's ride on board with Fred Vesti in the German livery. It looks splendid even from on board, and Lewis Hamilton currently tops the times in Q3. He's a master around the Hungaroring. Let's see if Fred can channel his inner mastery of this circuit. 26.9 for the first sector, which is slower than what Théo Pourchaire has managed. So we're probably not going to be much better off than P10, to be honest. Let's see what we can achieve. Relatively clear track ahead, 26.5 for the middle sector, but Pourchaire 0.3 quicker. So I think we're just going to end up in P10, which isn't a surprise. 21.9 for the final sector. He is 0.7 off of Daniel Ricciardo. Wow. There is such a chasm between us and the top 5 teams, and we're just struggling to bridge that. If Russell hadn't crashed out in Q1, we'd have been 11th, I think. Well, yeah, actually no, we qualified 10th in Q2, didn't we? So we would have been fine, but yeah, it's just so difficult. There you go, there's the grid. Fred Vesti P10, Paul Aaron P12. We'll be watching out for George Russell coming through, but there is a curveball for the Grand Prix. Rain. We are set for a very wet Hungarian Grand Prix. Well, wet throughout, essentially, because the game has suggested inters for Paul Aaron. And here's a look at the track graph. It's going to progressively get slightly wetter, then it's going to dry up a little bit, and then progressively get slightly wetter, then it's going to dry out, to the point where the game actually suggests putting Fred on mediums for the final part of the race. I don't think that's really going to work, so we're just going to go ahead and do this and match up the strategies. It's 70 laps around the Budapest circuit, and we've only got 60 and 63 laps of fuel in the car respectively. Because of the rain, we're just going to run under fueled and try and have some sort of pace advantage that way. You recover the fuel in the rain pretty effectively anyway, so I think we'll be just about okay. We are targeting 18th or higher with both drivers. If we finish the race, we should get that. Let's get to the grid and see what we can achieve in this soggy Hungarian Grand Prix. Here we go, then you can barely see Max Verstappen on pole position because of the light board in the way. 5 red lights in Hungary, the lights are out, the race is on. Let's see how we're getting on from the helicam. And we can see that everybody has started on intermediate tyres because this new extended user interface board gives us more information. So we'll see that as we go through the different boards of it through the race. But Fred Vesti has actually lost a position on the opening lap, which is not what we were hoping for. That's Zhou Guanyu down the inside and into P10. Fred trying to hang it out around the outside, can't make it stick, and we lose a position on the opening lap. We've got yellow flags. Oliver Behrman has spun off. Callum believes it was Fred, but we've actually just seen Fred there diving down the inside into turn 4 Not really an overtaking spot, but we'll take it. Let's hope we get a replay of that. Here we go. Oh, from helmet cam as well. This could be borderline terrifying. Have some of that, Zhou Guanyu. Fred going more than full send, double send. Lap 7 of the Hungarian Grand Prix. Paul Aron has made his way into 11th place, and we're currently running 10th and 11th, as you can see. And we've dropped 2.5 seconds behind Théo Pourchaire, but we are not using our tyres quite as much as everybody else. So we're putting ourselves in a good position for later on in the race, where we might be able to push on the Inters in the second half of the Grand Prix a little bit harder. We obviously don't want to lose too much ground early on, though. We are 2.5 seconds back. George Russell is just coming to join us. He's looking for the wet parts of the track to keep his Inters cool. And there's not really a lot happening because we're not quick enough to keep up with the guys in front. We're too fast for the likes of Zhou and Sainz, and we're just going to get eaten alive here by Russell, and we just then have to wait for other people to have problems, which doesn't make for great content. So I might just get the two drivers to fight each other. In fact, let's do that. I had asked Paul not to fight his teammate. Gloves are off, lads. Go for it. Oh, Paul Aron is attacking his teammate. Through the spree he comes and forces his way into 10th position. Obviously, Fred has got the majority of our points this season. We've got 21 points this season. We've had a fantastic year already. Even if we were to go on to the rest of the season failing to score, we'd probably still finish P6, to be honest. But George Russell has just passed Fred Vesti because DRS is now enabled because the track is dry. We're going to be toing and froing through this damp, dry sort of race. You could probably get away with a set of slicks at the moment. They would be slower than the Inters. It's about 0.8 millimetres, and the Inters are about a match and then progressively get a bit quicker. Although we have now caught Théo Pourchaire with Paul Aron. This is fantastic news. And this is where we can use a little bit more of our tyres that we saved up before to try and make the move. So we put ourselves in a fabulous position here to attack the Aston Martin. Obviously, we're conserving fuel all the way through this race because we've significantly underfueled. Minor yellow flag for Hulkenberg going off, or even Gasly, sorry. And we are right on the tail of Pourchaire. George Russell is right behind us, so we're about to take a place and then probably lose it. Right, let's deploy the battery. Let's attack on tyres and see if Paul can find a way through. Let's also get him driving in clean air.
Just maximise that car.
So here we go. DRS. Lovely stuff. Thanks very much. P9. Beautiful move by Paul Aron. And now we can skedaddle up the road because Pourchaire is struggling on it. Well, he's just looking after his tyres a little bit. Let's have a look at this overtake off board. We're getting the wire cam. That drive in clean air, when you're looking to make an easy overtake, works most of the time. You got it stopped. Good stuff. Lovely job. We might be about to get another Aston Martin as well because we've closed in on Ricciardo. Are we still driving in clean air? We are. So let's close up to Danny Rick and pass him as well. Oh, we've already done it. We've already done it. Here we go. This must have been into turn 4. No, into turn 2. Oh, it's a Danny dive bomb. Amazing move by Paul Aron. Absolutely had Daniel Ricciardo at the place where he made those spectacular moves to win the Hungarian Grand Prix in 2014. He's had one put on him, and Paul Aron is up into 8th place. Excellent. And DRS is about to be disabled because it's getting wetter. So Ricciardo can't even respond. Just want to point out that Paul Aron currently runs P5. A number of drivers ahead of us have stopped for fresh tyres. Oscar Piastri, Kimi Antonelli, 2 among them. George Russell has moved past Fred Vesti on his fresh rubber. But obviously we've yet to stop. So if we can do this as a 1-stop, we could be in a really good position come the end of the race. Although a 2-stop round here could be very, very useful, because the better rubber gives you more speed, So it's a tricky balance to find. Piastri has a mechanical problem. That could get worse and be useful for us, but we're looking pretty good at the moment. And 5th and 11th, if you'd offered me that before the race, I'd have absolutely snapped your hand off for it. Kimi Antonelli is still stuck behind us. He can't find a way through, can the Mercedes driver. His nightmare is going to be ended in a moment because we are going to go to the pit lane, but we're going to have significantly better tyres than most of the grid. So I wonder if they're going to try and take them to the end. That would be my hunch, but we're going from the mid-race to the end. Alright, 2.3 second stop for Paul Aaron. How is Fred's going to go? Paul actually is going to return to the track just behind Théo Pourchaire.
P11 at the moment.
So we can deploy some battery and attack on... Oh, it's a slightly slow stop for Fred. A very rare mistake, 4.1 seconds. Not disastrous in the grand scheme of things, and we pop out still in P12, so no harm done, really. But yeah, we're now essentially on a dry track. This could be fun. Better tyres could really come in handy. Piastri's mechanical fault is worsening, and we've got DRS as we attack Théo Pourchaire. We can't get him here, I don't think. Well, maybe we can. Can he lunge it? Oh, Paul had a look. I'm sure we will be passed next time around across the start-finish line. Or will it even be then? Probably will be, yes. Right, here we go. Let's deploy some battery. Are we close enough? It's 9/10 of a second. That's probably too far back. What about here? Deploy the battery. Oh, it's now DRS has now been disabled because it's got wetter again. That is not ideal. But Paul is still all over the back of the Aston Martin. I'm sure we'll find a way through soon enough. Daniel Ricciardo has handed us a position. I think the Aston Martin driver has made a mistake. There he goes off the road. Thanks very much, says Paul Aaron. P10 for the Estonian Pourchaire. He took off up the road and passed his teammate as well. We're now 4 seconds adrift of the Frenchman. But we do have 10% better tyres, and that could come in very useful later on. Alright, interesting development here on the weather. We're actually going to be seeing the rain stop in less than a minute. And look at this. It's going to dry out. We're going to need some slicks. So the rest of the grid, actually boxing earlier, has played into their hands. But we can now really attack on these tyres and try and take it to them, to be honest. We might even be able to undercut a couple of them by getting onto the slicks early, especially perhaps with Fred. So once we get into a position for that, I think we need to really go for it. He is some 25 seconds adrift of Ricciardo. But if we get that crossover point correct, we could gain potentially more than that. It could be that big of a difference. So let's see how this all plays out. So I think, let's have a look at this. I think we take the punt with Fred now. Soft tyres, 25 laps. We're only asking them to do sort of 16, 17. Let's go with the softs, because we should be able to get them to the end from here and then see what he can do. We will need a good stop. In he comes. Charles Leclerc has come in as well. Let's call Paul Aaron in now too. So if the Ferrari guys think it's right to come in, I think it is the right time to come in. Maybe we should have brought Paul Aaron in as well. So this is going to need to be a very good outlap for Fred Vesti. Some of the top six haven't gone in. Leclerc's gone to hards. What? What on earth? They've put hard tyres on. What? Why are they putting hards on? That is bonkers. Pourchaire's not particularly escaping. We were 6/10 quicker last time round, but Piastri is very slow. He's just on a 20.0. We've done a 20.1 actually. That wasn't a very good lap from Paul Aaron. So if Piastri keeps up that pace, we might be able to catch him, especially if we choose to deploy some of this battery. He's still got some fuel to conserve, so we'll go about doing that. There's definitely a P9 on offer here for us. If we can snatch that place off Piastri. Got a little bit of traffic in the shape of a Haas. Is that Ocon? No, it was Behrman. But we are trying to close down those ahead of us. Porsche has pulled away. We are out of battery. It was a 19.9. We're only a tenth quicker than Piastri with his mechanical. Maybe we'll just have to settle for P10. Alright, Paul Aaron is coming around the final few corners. Max Verstappen has lapped both of our drivers, so we will have to settle for P10. So Max Verstappen wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. We are the first lapped car. It's a point which could have been a little bit more, but it's kind of where our car is in terms of pace. We're just looking to snipe off a point when there's an error for one of those top 5 teams. Ricardo made a mistake today, and we managed to pick him off. Fred Vesti had a decent start, but the pace dried up, as did the circuit, and Paul Aaron made his way through. Maybe the really heavily underfueling helped him earlier on, and Fred just, once the car sort of started to balance out in terms of its weight with everybody else, we didn't have the pace, sadly. We weren't able to catch Piastri. Porsche hasn't been able to catch him either, so that's nothing to worry about, to be honest, but a point is decent. So Max Verstappen wins from the 2 Ferraris, then Yuki Tsunoda sandwiching the Scarlet cars, Mercedes, McLaren, then Aston Martin, and us round out the top 10. Yeah, Fred has 14 points. Paul now has 8 points of our 22 points this season. Lovely number is 22. And yeah, let's have a look at the pit stop competition. We've had 2 of the best 10 stops of the day, which means we moved to 309 points. Wow, we've got a massive lead over McLaren. We are acing it in the pit lane this season. We are fantastic there, so we'll ignore that one. Doesn't matter, but yeah, excellent weekend. A point picked up. We'll take that. So back in the points, that's always good. We've now got the summer break, which means we can make sure we've got everything stocked up. And maybe I think we're designing a couple of more parts for this year's car, and then we'll just sort of turn off the taps and focus on 2026 and make sure we have a really solid base to build from in Season 3. If you enjoyed this video, leave a nice big thumbs up for me. Subscribe for more F1 Manager content, and I'll see you again very soon. You're the best fans. Bye for now.